In this presentation, we will continue on with our comprehensive proprietorship problem. We are on the closing entries and we are on the closing entries tab. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info. We have completed the first closing entry and now are on step 2, closing entry 2. Of our 4-step process, which will be, of course, as of the end of the month, preparing us for the following month. We're at the end of January, preparing for February. The first closing entry closed out net income to the income summary. Our goal, of course, is to get all of these accounts to be 0 at the end of the 4-step process, all of these accounts, including the telephone. And so we're going to now do our second step, our longest step, which is to close out all expense accounts to the income summary account. So all expense accounts, this is going to be the most intimidating looking journal entry, but it's pretty simple because all expense accounts are debit balances. We're going to make them all go down. So we're just going to credit all of these expense accounts for whatever is in there, take that difference, $21,900, and record it to income summary. So in other words, we're going to have to credit all of these items and we'll debit the income summary. So I'll copy the income summary first and put it on top of our journal entry. So the income summary is going to be the debit. I won't put the amount yet, but we're just going to say that's going to be the debit so we can put the debits on top. And then we'll just put all of our expense accounts. So we're just going to line them up as exactly how they're there. Now I'm going to do this with a formula to make it a little bit easier, meaning this is wages expense. It has a debit balance. We need to do the opposite thing, credit it. So I'm going to put our cursor in B9, say equals, pick up wages, enter. I'm going to indent that, home tab, alignment, increase indenting. We need to pick up the credit. So I'm going to go in the credit and I need to flip the sign there. I'm just going to say negative of this number. Now I'm going to show you an error that often happens just to show you what a circle reference is. So you want to pick up this number, but just to show you a problem, I'm going to try to pick up this number and that'll be a problem when we post it. You could also just type in a negative 6,500. I'm going to go to the next one then, and we're going to go to utilities. It has a debit. I need to make it go down to 0, so I'm going to do the opposite thing to it, or credit it. So in B10 equals the utilities, and I'm going to say control enter will keep my on the cell, same as saying enter but with control, and then I'm going to go to the home tab, alignment, increase the indenting, tab, I'm in cell D10, and then I'm going to pick up this number, negative of that number, to flip the sign and enter. So when we post these, this will bring this down to 0, this will bring this down to 0. Supplies, same thing. I'm going to say equals the supplies. I'm hitting control enter, so I'm still on the tab. It doesn't go to the one below it. Go into the home tab, alignment, increase indenting, probably done for you already. Hitting tab twice to go to the second cell. And then I'm going to say negative of this number, enter. Scroll down just a bit. Now we're on depreciation. It has a debit. We need to make it go to 0, so we're going to do the opposite, credit. Equals, pointing to depreciation, control enter. Home tab, alignment, increase indenting, tabbing twice, negative of this number, and enter. And then insurance, same thing. It's got a debit. We need to credit it, once again, like all expense accounts. So equals the insurance, control enter, home tab, alignment, increase indenting, tabbing twice, or I should have tabbed twice, that's what I tried to do. And then undo, tab twice, and then negative of this number, and then we get to do this one more time and then we have to stop, unfortunately, because there's only one left, telephone. That's going to equals the telephone, control enter, home tab, alignment, increase indenting, tab twice, negative of this number. Now obviously there's a bunch of different ways you could do that, but all we need to do is just take whatever numbers are here, make them credits, and put them here so that when we post it, these will go down to 0. We could have done that faster by using autofill, which I'll show you now. We could have done, let's just start from the second one down. Like say I delete this whole thing. I'm not going to do the first one because I was demonstrating how this is going to cause you a problem by going to that other cell. So I'm going to do from the second one down, which is pulling from there and pulling from there. And I can just select this whole thing and then autofill it down. Put our cursor on autofill, and it'll autofill all the way down. So that'll be, of course, a bit faster. So then the debit is just going to be the sum of those. So the 6,500 plus the 1,300 plus the 11,000 plus the 1,000 plus the 1,000 plus the 1,100 adds up to 21,900. We will do that with our sum function, but flip the sign. So we're going to use our negative sum function. Select this. Now, typically I like to go from the top to the bottom, but this thing's in the way. I want to highlight this whole thing. You could move it, or you could go from bottom to top. I could say, well, I'll just go from bottom to top, and it's the same thing. It still goes C now, it doesn't go, the opposite or anything. Or we can grab this thing, say, get out of the way, and then go from the top to the bottom. And that should give us our 21.9 if we highlight the whole thing. Adds up to 0, debits minus the credits being equal. Or if we add up the credits, 21.9 looks good. Let's post this out now. We're going to post the income summary. It's got the 21.9. We'll post that here. Something's in it. So I'm going to double click on H19, go to the end of it, plus point to the 21.9, bringing this 27,000 down to 1,500. That hopefully looks familiar because that is equal to net income. We've now closed out revenue and expenses to the income summary, giving us net income. This looks right. This matches what net income was here, and it matches net income hopefully on the financials. I'll go to the financials. Net income, bottom line on the income statement, matches. That's one of our checks. So if we go back to the closing process, if this then closes out zeros on every account below it, then it looks like we were doing things properly and then can move this account in step 3 to the capital account with our step 3 journal entry. Let's post the rest and see if it does what we think it should, making all these 0. We're going to post the wages here, so we are in H21. Now this one's going to cause us a problem because of that circle reference. If I post to that 6,005 and enter, it says there is one or more circle reference where a formula refers to its own cell either directly or indirectly. This might cause them to calculate incorrectly. Try removing or changing these references. And if you say enter, it says this is going on. This is common, so you just want to know about it. And that just means all that's happening here is it's saying, you told me to take this number to calculate this cell, and then you told me to take this number to calculate this cell, and then you told me to take this number and this number to calculate that. And I can't do that. I can't take the same number and then use it to change the number that you told me to use to do the calculation. It's a circle, so it's a problem. So in order to get around that, I could just hard code this number by saying -65, and then it'll do what we expect. Or I could say negative of this number rather than this number, and it'll still be good. So then the next one, we're going to post this one here. So we're in H22 equals the 1,003, bringing this to 0. And then we're going to post the supplies to the supplies. So in H23 equals the supplies, enter. Then we're going to post the depreciation to the depreciation. So in H24 equals the 1,000 and enter. Then we're going to post the insurance to the insurance. So in H25 equals the insurance expense and enter. All of these going down to 0 as we hoped. And then telephone expense and telephone expense in H26 equals and enter. That'll bring us back in balance and bring us to all zeros. So now everything on the income statement is 0 as we hoped. And the income, net income, is in income summary. Now you might be asking, is there an easier way to post these? And there is. We could delete all these and say these look like they're doing the same thing relatively all the way down. So why don't we just go to autofill, because this is coming from here, obviously. Let's put our cursor on autofill and just drag it down. And it does what we would want there, picking up the relative references all the way down. Okay, so now we're at 1,500 in the income summary, matching our net income. We have zeros in all income statement account, which is what we want. And this has prepared us, and we are ready for step 3 of 4, that then being to close out the income summary where we ultimately wanted it to go all along, to capital. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info.